nice when we have something paranormal to talk about that's not ours. Like, it's nice to talk about ours, it's like personal, but it's usually weird or stressful when it's ours, like something happened. So it's nice to say, like, nothing's really happened lately above the norm, right?
Yes.
Yay! So Uncle Fester brought us this, or Uncle Infested, as he likes to call himself, brought us this series of articles because we hadn't heard of it. So he's like, oh, here's something different that Gomez and Morticia haven't heard of. So we thought we would share it with you guys, and hope you haven't heard it yet either. If you guys are new, subscribe, check out our spooky playlist, hang out with us, turn on spookifications so that we may traumatize you on a tri-weekly basis. So 3 times a week we usually do something like that. 3 times? Yeah. Slappy is here again. He says hi. He hasn't really felt like getting dressed because with the pandemic on, he hasn't really gotten to go out and terrorize the neighborhood as much. He doesn't like wearing the mask, so he just stays home. I mean, if you don't want to wear it, that's cool, but stay home, right? Yeah. So anyway, he finally got dressed today and was like, I'm going to hang out with this vlog. It's cool.
Thank you, Slappy.
He doesn't care about like jewelry reviews and stuff like that, so he's like...
Occasionally he gets involved with tarot, but otherwise...
Yeah, sometimes I'll do that, but then he's like, he gets bored with it.
Yeah.
Alright, let's talk about this. This is interesting because it's unexplainable and ghostly and from a time in the past, way back in the 40s, where stuff was weird because of World War II. I don't know why the 40s just creeped me out, because technology got weird and all the weird Nazi crap and like experiments and whatever, I don't know. But this was here in America, in Odon, Indiana, right?
Yes, 1941 is one of the dates that the newspaper article mentions. It calls, the title of it is Odon Poltergeist and the Mysterious Fires by Doug McGowan. So yes, it's...
I wonder if it's related to Rose McGowan.
Yes, I was considering the same. That's how I remembered his name.
Oh, and then, you know, since she was in Charmed, we can do a paranormal connection there too.
Yes, it all relates.
It all relates. Somehow we can make it relate.
So here is 1941, and it's Odon, Indiana. I have seen 2 different spellings of Odon, by the way. One is O-D-E-N, and the other one is O-D-O-N.
That's the one I saw online.
Yes. So this article is both, but I think the other one is more correct. Anyway, so here we're talking about the family of William and Minnie Heckler. They have been living in this interesting house for decades by 1940s. And then something strange happens in 1941. They have a strange spree of fires. And interesting about that is that the firemen that come to them, the volunteer fireman department, cannot find what causes those fires. They seem to be spreading in a strange way too. First, there is this window that is caught on fire, and then they see that another wall that's entirely unrelated to that window also catches fire. So they're like, alright, maybe there's some kind of defective chimney, let's look for it. And they look for it, and they find absolutely nothing.
And there was no like electrical stuff because the house was too old for that.
Yeah, the house, as it turned out, was built around the Civil War by one of the county's founders, Marshall Ketchum. So almost none of those rural Indiana houses had any electrical wiring, so they checked for that. They suspected other causes as well, natural causes such as gas leaking, some kind of strange magnetic field, something like a lightning rod not charging properly or discharging, or all kinds of different electrical theories. And even warm weather was accounted for because it was spring of 1941. So they thought maybe it was the heat causing something unexpected, but they checked for that and there wasn't even any fire in the stove. So they checked basically everything. And the fire would seem, again, it would go in strangest places. They found suddenly a book on fire, then they found a bed on fire and bed sheets. And it doesn't...
Was anybody in it?
No.
Because I mean, you know, sometimes if you get busy, it's like super intense.
So you're talking about us?
Yeah.
Yes, it can happen.
I'm sorry, he just gave me a good opening. I had to use it.
So the thing about it that it doesn't seem like if it were in the vicinity to one another, then of course fire could spread from here to here straight line. But no, it's spots that are totally disconnected and None of them had any definite cause.
Like spontaneous fires.
Yeah. And overall that day, the number of fires was 28.
In one day.
In one day. It was interesting. The other city that included the volunteer firemen, by the way, was named Elnora. It was interesting to us for a special personal reason. Yeah, so they also looked for everything and also did not find anything. Both Odon and Elnora departments. And so the guy himself, the owner of the house, William Heckler, he was not a believer in the supernatural. But it turned out that...
When the supernatural believes in you, you get to change your mind.
He still didn't, actually. And he said that he does not and is not going to believe in spooks. He even experimented with it and decided to, the next month, he moved everything from the house to a different location. He basically, you could say, rebuilt the house in a slightly different location, adjacent but not too close to the same neighborhood. And he's like, I was more afraid of fires again starting over than anything supernatural happening. So he was right in that nothing really happened. But going back to the previous residents of his house that occupied it, even though he himself was not a believer, there was a person who lived there previously who was by the last name of Wilk or Wilkie. It is no certainty. But he was a spiritualist who claimed to have been talking to his deceased son. He even left the coffin with his son open so that he could converse with him freely in his house.
Not at all creepy.
Not at all creepy.
Now, we say that, it's pretty bad.
It's all like charming and stuff, but for somebody else. And his wife agreed with the sentiment, and after he died, she moved the son's coffin back to the cemetery.
That's cool. Yeah.
So she had the right idea. But going back to the founder of the house who built it around the Civil War
Creepy
time.
coffin guy?
That was one before him.
Oh, okay.
This one was Wilk, and the one before him that I'm talking about now, his name was Marshall Kirchen.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So he had a family of 2 official children and possibly suspected maybe 4 unofficial ones. And the reason...
To get around.
Yeah, he was part of, well, he was like a founding father, so maybe...
He's founding the town.
Yeah. So, the cause of his family's death was described as burning with fever, which in modern terms seems to be related to typhus. But the idea of burning, like, symbolically when you think about burning...
little fires.
Yeah.
If they're starting fires, the ghosts are starting fires all over the house with their fever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Gomez actually told me about this today because he read the articles when Fester brought them over. And I'm thinking, but why right then? Like, why wait till whatever day in 1941 if these ghosts are going to start fever fires, intentionally or accidentally, why then? But maybe it was like an anniversary of the day they died or the day they got sick or something, for all we know.
That's a good thought.
Thank you. I just had it.
Yes, that was perfect. I was wondering the same, like, why after a decade, so... that makes sense. And the other thing is that the guy himself, William Heckler, clearly wasn't specifically possessed more than usual, nor did he have a stroke of bad luck.
We didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I've had a lot of caffeine, so we're up, like...
We're functioning, we're out there. We exist.
We exist.
So he
wasn't possessed more than usual. How is it?
Well, like some people experience this and that in their lives, like somebody can have
I've only been possessed about 3 times. How about you?
It seems like it's
I've never possessed at all, but I like that more than usual. What goes on in Russia? Gomez is Russian, you guys. Like, you probably heard the beautiful accent enough.
We have nightmares.
I don't know, man. I'm possessed more than usual. That's just a quote that's going to stick with you for a while. Okay.
So he got to live basically to a very long life.
Because of the not too much possession.
Yeah, so I could speculate that he was not too possessed or anything.
Do you think possession makes people live shorter? demons forget to feed them and shit. Like
maybe they have like more trouble alive, like more things happen to them, like things fall on their foot or their head, and like
things fall when you get possessed, you guys. Apparently,
or they fall somewhere, or like they lose like their kidney accidentally to sleep.
Lose their kidney accidentally. I am not going to have weird dreams tonight, you guys. I'm not. I'm just going to pass out because I get to go to sleep finally, like whenever I go to bed. So,
tomorrow, on the other hand, when you sleep well.
That's too much. More than usual. I got to go write that down because that's just...
horror story waiting to happen. I give you ideas, you write them down.
That's like in a world where you create it where they weren't, like everybody has to be possessed almost like a demon rental or something. Like
yeah, I like that.
Not possessed more than usual. You know, you have the mandatory possession years and then you get to move on from that. Like, okay, I'm sorry. We think it's funny. If you don't think it's funny, I'm sorry we didn't get sleep, but damn it, it's funny. Okay. So the original guy wasn't possessed more than usual.
And he got to live with
right. And then the other guy with the son and the coffin guy, crazy coffin guy as I call him, next.
Yeah, I guess he might have had a shorter lifespan, it seems.
Maybe he was possessed more than usual by the son in the coffin.
Yeah, considering his beliefs, it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe he wasn't only talking to ghosts. Also, I wanted to point out there is a picture taken by Collier Travel Insurance Agency.
Ooh, are you going to show it?
Yeah.
I can show you a picture.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but...
we could put it up on the screen, but we're like Morticia and Gomez, we're old school.
So it might not show well, but maybe when you look up the Odon firehouse and stuff like that, you will see it anyway. But to my mind, it kind of looks creepy, even disregarding the fact that it was spoiled by fire. Kind of like one of those old asylums that have like darkish energy around
You
them.
would love Nazareth Hill. There's this book I want him to read with me.
Yes.
By Ramsey Campbell. We'll do a book review about it together.
It is downloaded now and waiting for our next flash.
It was so creepy. I had to get my friend to come sleep on my couch and I was reading it and he laughed because it's me and I'm not scared of nothing. Like, so it was pretty cool. It's a creepy ghost story book about a psych ward, so it's awesome.
So, like, Ophelia had this friend that contacted me and sent me different pictures to see if this building is haunted, if I get to pick up psychic energy from it and stuff like that. So, I think if that was sent to me, I would say that this one has some kind of a psychic imprint. It's hard sometimes to tell, like, you know, you already know that something happened, so maybe you're looking for something else. But to my mind, I guess it feels darkish, so...
I think you're pretty objective, though, because sometimes you'll be like, to me, it would look normal and I wouldn't know. Like, you've said that about other things that were creepier. And...
yeah, I try to isolate my prejudice against the objectivity, so... I think it works most of the time. So I guess you can tell me what you think, but I think it looks darkish, even disregarding the dark smoke coming from it and stuff like that, even just looking at it as a building.
Like a psychic imprint of creepiness.
Yeah. And like the windows look, again, as if it were an asylum, and I know it was not an asylum, but still that kind of a dark energy, like something is wrong there.
Well, I guess it was.
Yeah.
So, after they moved the location, they kept all the pieces of the house and just moved the location, and there was no more trouble.
Yeah, they brought, the whole house was burned, like broke apart and stuff, rebuilt, and then when it was rebuilt, then they had normal life. Well, I guess not for everybody, because our guy William Heckler got divorced from his wife and remarried the Clara. So maybe she was still having issues, but I guess it could just be psychological trauma instead of spiritual problems of any kind. So
28 fires in a day, that's just trippy.
I mean, that could get to one.
We had some weird, creepy, not really fire stuff, but this ghost was playing with our stove when we did this stupid thing, because I was trying to debunk the ghost tracking app because it makes no sense that an app can do that. It really doesn't, and I was wrong, and I can say I'm wrong. So that's in our paranormal playlist. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It was interesting. So yeah, I like the fever concept, and if it was on the anniversary of when it happened, that could be interesting.
And the other article that was included here and provided also by Uncle Infested was written by a guy with an interesting last name that I thought was interesting, Broomfield.
I like that, it's all witchy.
Yeah.
The only thing better would be Broomcraft. Like Lovecraft, but Broomcraft.
I like that.
Or Broomfield is good.
His full name is Dale M. Broomfield. The 28 Fires of Odon was his article. So now you have the complete paranormal story.
in all its spooky
Fire-esque glory.
virus. Yeah. Oh, that rhymes. Story and glory.
Yeah.
Good. He's writing poetry even though he didn't get a lot of sleep and isn't possessed too much or whatever. Like,
More than usual.
More than usual, yeah. I gotta write it down so I get the proper. Okay, so we do these videos, but we haven't gotten sleep because it's something to do. Like, you're tired, you gotta stay busy so that you don't nap and then screw up your schedule again. That's why we do this when we're tired. So, yeah, stay productive when you're sleepy, my friends. Until next time.